Secrets of the greatest genius. Leonardo da Vinci. He painted the most famous smile in history. He designed flying machines 500 years before the Wright brothers. He cut open human corpses in secret, mapping the body with precision that wouldn't be matched for centuries. Most of his life's work remains hidden in scattered notebooks, written backwards, encoded, deliberately concealed. Who was Leonardo da Vinci, really? And what secrets did he take to his grave? Let's begin with what Leonardo did in the darkness. In the winter of 1507, a man died in a hospital in Florence. Leonardo da Vinci was there. Within hours, he had the body moved to his studio. What happened next was illegal. It was considered a sin against God. It could have cost him his life. Leonardo dissected the corpse. He opened the chest cavity, examined the heart, traced every vein and artery, sketched the muscles, tendons, and bones with obsessive detail. This wasn't the first time. Over his lifetime, Leonardo is believed to have dissected more than 30 human bodies, men, women, and at least one child. He worked by candlelight, alone, in secret. The church forbade such acts. Human dissection was viewed as desecration, a violation of the soul's vessel. Yet Leonardo continued. Why? Because he believed the human body held answers that couldn't be found in books or prayer. His anatomical drawings are astonishing. He was the first to accurately depict the human spine, the first to show the chambers of the heart in correct proportion. He drew the fetus in the womb centuries before modern obstetrics. He discovered that the heart has 4 chambers, not 2, as was believed. His sketches of the human skull, the nervous system, the musculature, were more accurate than anything produced for the next 300 years. But here's what's strange. He never published any of it. Thousands of pages of groundbreaking medical knowledge hidden away in private notebooks. Some historians believe he feared persecution. Others suggest something else, that Leonardo was searching for something deeper, something he couldn't or wouldn't share. Leonardo da Vinci wrote backwards. Not occasionally. Almost everything he ever wrote, over 13,000 pages of notes, sketches, and ideas, was written in mirror script, from right to left. Reversed, readable only when held up to a mirror. The standard explanation is simple. Leonardo was left-handed, and mirror writing was more natural for him. It prevented smudging, but that explanation doesn't satisfy everyone, because Leonardo could write normally when he wanted to. Letters to patrons, formal documents, public inscriptions, all written in standard script. So why hide his private thoughts? Some scholars believe it was a form of protection. In Renaissance Italy, ideas could be dangerous. The Inquisition was active. Free thinkers were watched. Books were burned. Men were executed for heresy. Leonardo lived in a time when the church controlled knowledge, and questioning doctrine could mean death. His notebooks contain ideas that would have been considered radical. He rejected the biblical timeline of creation. He studied fossils found on mountaintops and concluded the earth was far older than scripture claimed. He wrote that the sun did not revolve around the earth. He questioned the existence of the soul as a separate entity from the body. These were not safe opinions. So perhaps the mirror writing was camouflage, a way to hide forbidden knowledge in plain sight. But there's another theory. Some believe Leonardo encoded his notebooks intentionally because he was part of a secret intellectual circle, a group of thinkers who shared dangerous ideas away from the eyes of the church. There's no definitive proof, but Leonardo did move in circles that included philosophers, mystics, and alchemists. And his notebooks contain strange symbols, geometric codes, unexplained diagrams. One page shows a series of knots and interwoven patterns. Another contains a sketch labeled Accademia Leonardo da Vinci, the Academy of Leonardo da Vinci. No such academy is known to have existed, or at least no record of it survives. The Last Supper, one of the most famous paintings in the world. painted between 1495 and 1498 on the wall of a monastery in Milan. It depicts the moment Jesus tells his disciples, "One of you will betray me." 13 figures, each face unique, each gesture deliberate, but look closer. Art historians have spent centuries analyzing this painting, and they've found things that don't quite add up. First, the composition. The 12 apostles are arranged in 4 groups of 3, perfectly symmetrical, but the spacing is unusual. There's a gap next to Jesus, a space that seems intentional. Some suggest this gap represents the missing 13th figure, Mary Magdalene. In fact, one of the figures to Jesus' right has often been interpreted as feminine. Long hair, delicate features, no beard. Traditionally identified as John the Apostle, but the androgynous appearance has fueled debate for centuries. Then there's Judas. He's shown clutching a small bag, the 30 pieces of silver. But his hand is also reaching toward a piece of bread on the table, at the exact same moment as Jesus. Their hands almost mirror each other. Is this a subtle suggestion of a deeper connection between Christ and his betrayer? Now, here's where it gets strange. In 2007, a musician named Giovanni Maria Palla claimed to have discovered hidden music in the painting. He noticed that the positions of the hands and the loaves of bread, when read from right to left, correspond to notes on a musical staff. When played, they form a short composition, a requiem. Intentional or coincidence? Leonardo was known to be a musician. He played the lyre. He designed instruments. He understood musical theory. It's possible he embedded a melody as a kind of intellectual game. But there's more. Some researchers have pointed out unusual objects on the table. A hand holding a knife, but no body attached to it. A figure leaning at an unnatural angle. And if you overlay a mirror image of the painting onto itself, new faces appear in the negative space. A horned figure, a ghostly child. Are these intentional, or are we seeing patterns where none exist? Leonardo himself left no explanation. The painting has been restored, damaged, repainted. So much of the original detail is lost. But the questions remain. Why did Leonardo include these ambiguities? Was he simply a master of composition, or was he encoding something? The Mona Lisa, the most famous painting in the world, and perhaps the most mysterious. She sits in the Louvre behind bulletproof glass, watched by millions every year. But who is she? The mainstream answer is Lisa Gherardini, wife of a Florentine merchant named Francesco del Giocondo. Leonardo was commissioned to paint her portrait around 1503. He worked on it for years. Carried it with him wherever he went, never delivered it. When he died in 1519, the painting was still in his possession. But here's the problem. There's no definitive proof, no signed contract, no letter from Leonardo confirming the identity of the sitter. The first written claim that the painting depicts Lisa Gherardini comes from Giorgio Vasari, 50 years after Leonardo's death, and Vasari never saw the painting. So, the debate continues. Some believe the Mona Lisa is not Lisa Gherardini at all. One theory suggests it's a portrait of Isabella of Aragon. Another claims it's Caterina Sforza, a warrior duchess Leonardo knew. Some even argue it's a self-portrait Leonardo in disguise. In 2011, researchers used digital analysis to compare the facial structure of the Mona Lisa with Leonardo's known self-portraits. The bone structure, the proportions, they match. Could Leonardo have painted himself as a woman? It sounds absurd. But Leonardo was known for his androgynous figures. He often blurred gender in his art, and he never identified the subject of the painting. Then there's the smile. That enigmatic expression. It seems to change depending on where you look. From one angle, she's serene. From another, melancholy. Scientists have studied the effect. It's called sfumato, a technique Leonardo perfected. Soft edges, blurred boundaries between light and shadow. It tricks the eye, but it also creates emotional ambiguity. You can't pin down what she's feeling, and that's the point. Leonardo understood human perception. He knew how to manipulate it. But why? Why create a portrait that refuses to reveal itself? Some believe Leonardo was exploring the nature of identity. Others think he was embedding a deeper message. There are claims of hidden symbols in the painting, letters and numbers in her eyes, a veil that suggests mourning, a landscape that defies geography. One researcher even claims that if you overlay the Mona Lisa with Leonardo's self-portrait, the eyes align perfectly. Is any of this true? Or are we projecting meaning onto a masterpiece? The frustrating answer is, we don't know. Leonardo left no notes about the Mona Lisa, no sketches, no explanation, just the painting itself, and her eternal, inscrutable smile. Leonardo da Vinci was not just an artist. He was an engineer, a visionary, a man who imagined the future and drew it. In his notebooks, you'll find designs for machines that wouldn't be built for centuries. Flying machines, helicopters, parachutes, armored tanks, diving suits, rapid-fire crossbows, giant bridges, mechanical lions. Take the aerial screw, a spiral device designed to lift a man into the air. Leonardo drew it around 1485. It's essentially a helicopter 400 years before Igor Sikorsky built the first functional one. Or the parachute, a pyramid-shaped canopy made of linen. Leonardo calculated the size needed to safely slow a man's descent. In 2000, a skydiver tested a replica of Leonardo's design. It worked. Then there's the armored vehicle, a circular tank covered in metal plates with cannons protruding from all sides. Leonardo designed it for the Duke of Milan. It was never built, but the concept predates modern tanks by 4 centuries. So why weren't these machines built in Leonardo's time? First, materials. Leonardo's designs required precision engineering, lightweight metals, durable fabrics, powerful engines. None of this existed in the Renaissance. Second, Leonardo himself may not have wanted them built. Look closely at some of his designs. The aerial screw, the gears turn the wrong way. The tank, the cranks would jam if operated as drawn. Some historians believe these mistakes were intentional. Leonardo was selling ideas to wealthy patrons, many of them warlords. He needed to impress them. But he may not have wanted his weapons of war to actually function. He wrote in one of his notebooks, "I do not publish or divulge such things because of the evil nature of men." Leonardo feared his inventions could be used for destruction, so he encoded flaws into the designs, a kind of intellectual sabotage. But other designs were flawless. In 2004, engineers at the Institute and Museum of the History of Science in Florence built a working model of his self-propelled cart. It functioned exactly as Leonardo intended. Leonardo da Vinci was imagining a future he would never see, and in many ways, we're still catching up. Leonardo da Vinci filled thousands of pages with notes, sketches, observations, ideas. Estimates suggest he produced between 13,000 and 28,000 pages over his lifetime. Today, we have about 7,000. The rest are gone, lost, stolen, destroyed, or hidden. After Leonardo's death in 1519, his notebooks passed to his assistant, Francesco Melzi. Melzi guarded them carefully. But after Melzi died in 1570, the collection was scattered. His heirs didn't understand the value. Pages were sold, given away, used as scrap paper. Some ended up in the hands of collectors, others vanished entirely. In the century since, notebooks have surfaced in unexpected places. In 1965, 2 volumes were found in the National Library of Spain, mislabeled and forgotten. They became known as the Madrid Codices, over 900 pages of Leonardo's work unseen for centuries. But how much is still missing? No one knows. Some believe private collectors hold pages in secret. Others think volumes were deliberately hidden by Leonardo himself or by those who came after. Why hide them? Perhaps because of what they contain. Leonardo's notes cover everything: anatomy, astronomy, botany, geology, mathematics, physics, philosophy. But they also contain strange passages, apocalyptic visions, prophecies. cryptic symbols. In one entry, Leonardo describes a future flood that will destroy civilization. In another, he writes of great beasts rising from the earth. Are these metaphors, allegories, or something else? Then there are the missing inventions, designs hinted at in letters but never found. A perpetual motion machine, a device to measure time with absolute precision, a map of the heavens. Some believe these designs were intentionally destroyed, too dangerous, too advanced, or too revealing. In 1994, Bill Gates purchased one of Leonardo's notebooks, the Codex Leicester, for over $30 million. It contains studies on water, fossils, and the moon. But even this notebook has gaps, pages torn out, sections missing. What was removed? And by whom? The search for Leonardo's lost work continues, but with every discovery, new questions arise. So who was Leonardo da Vinci, the man? He was born on April 15th, 1452, in the town of Vinci, near Florence. The illegitimate son of a notary and a peasant woman. He never attended university. He taught himself Latin, mathematics, and science. Leonardo was handsome, tall, strong. He could bend horseshoes with his bare hands, charming in conversation, a talented musician. He was also unusual. He was a vegetarian, rare in Renaissance Italy. He bought caged birds in the market just to set them free. He dressed flamboyantly, wore pink robes, grew his beard long. He never married, no record of a romantic relationship with a woman. In 1476, when Leonardo was 24, he was anonymously accused of sodomy. The charge involved a 17-year-old male model. The case was dismissed due to lack of evidence. But rumors persisted. Some historians believe Leonardo was gay. Others suggest he was asexual, more interested in ideas than physical relationships. Leonardo himself left almost no personal writings about love or desire. He was intensely private. He had close friendships with younger men, his assistants, his pupils, one in particular, Gian Giacomo Caprati, known as Salai. Salai entered Leonardo's household as a boy. Leonardo called him Little Devil. He was beautiful, mischievous, a thief, yet Leonardo kept him close for decades. When Leonardo died, he left Salai a significant inheritance. What was the nature of their relationship? We don't know. Leonardo was also known for his eccentricities. He slept in short bursts, a few hours at a time. He wandered the streets at night, observed people, sketched faces from memory. He was obsessed with water, with flight, with the mechanics of the human body. He filled his notebooks with questions. Why is the sky blue? How do birds turn in the air? What causes thunder? He pursued knowledge for its own sake, not for profit, not for fame, but because he needed to understand. And yet, he left so much unfinished. Paintings abandoned, inventions incomplete, projects half realized. Leonardo da Vinci died on May 2nd, 1519 in Amboise, France. He was 67. He was in the service of King Francis I. According to legend, he died in the king's arms. Probably untrue. But it speaks to how deeply Leonardo was admired, even in his own time. He was buried in the chapel of Saint Hubert. But during the French Revolution, the chapel was destroyed. His bones were lost. In 1863, researchers claimed to have found his skeleton. But there's no proof. Even in death, Leonardo remains elusive. 500 years after his death, Leonardo da Vinci still captivates the world. Why? Because he represents something rare, the union of art and science, imagination and reason, beauty and function. He refused to accept boundaries. He didn't see painting as separate from engineering or anatomy as separate from philosophy. To Leonardo, everything was connected. He believed that to paint a human face, you had to understand the muscles beneath. To design a flying machine, you had to study the wings of birds. To capture light on canvas, you had to understand optics. He was a polymath, a universal genius, and we've spent centuries trying to decode what he knew. His influence is everywhere, in art, in science, in technology. Modern animators study his sketches of movement, engineers reference his designs, surgeons admire his anatomical precision. Leonardo's life teaches us that curiosity is a form of courage, that questioning the world, even when it's dangerous, is essential. He lived in a time of control, of censorship, of rigid thinking, and he refused to accept it. He looked at the stars and asked why. He opened the human body and asked how. He imagined machines that defied gravity and didn't care that people thought he was mad. The mysteries surrounding Leonardo, the codes, the secrets, the lost knowledge, they're part of why we're drawn to him. But the real secret is simpler. Leonardo reminds us that the world is full of wonder, that there's always more to discover, and that one person with enough curiosity and determination can change the way we see everything. So what do you think? Was Leonardo da Vinci simply a genius ahead of his time, or was there something more, something hidden in his work that we've yet to understand? Do you believe his notebooks contain lost secrets, or are we reading too much into the mind of a brilliant artist? Share your thoughts in the comment.